Keyboards. There's a million varieties, and no matter what kind of keyboard you have, there are a few basic things you need to know about playing them. Hi, my name's Larry Steelman, and welcome to the Ultimate Beginner Series for keyboards. In the next half hour, we're going to talk about body position, we're going to talk about fingering, a few chord progressions, we're going to learn a little bit about the keyboard, but there's a lot to learn. So if you're ready, let's go back to the studio and get started. The first thing we need to talk about is body position. It's very important for you to be comfortable. Your body, depending on the length of your arm, should be about 2 feet from the keyboard. Keep your back straight, don't slump. Your feet should be flat on the floor. And if the height is correct of your seat or your bench, your forearm should be parallel to the floor. Notice that my elbows are in line with the side of my body. You should keep your shoulders and elbows loose at all times. And the fingers should be curved as if holding a ball with a light grip. Use the top part of your finger to strike the key. The whole body should be loose and relaxed. The first thing we need to talk about are the positions of the keys. And if you look at the keyboard, you'll see that there's a pattern of black notes, 2, 3, 2, and 3. And if I talk about direction, playing up means to the right. And playing down means playing to the left. Now we're going to find our home key, which is middle C. On some keyboards you may find a mark that says C. On an acoustic piano it's generally in the middle of the keyboard and just to the left of these 2 black notes. So let's name the notes now. C, D, E, F, G. Now we start over with A, B, and repeat C. This is the musical alphabet, and that is an octave from C to C. You may have noticed that I only use the white keys from C to C. That's because in the key of C, we only use the white keys. You may ask, well, what do I do with the black keys? And later on in this video, and in video 2, I'll explain more about how to use these black keys. The inside of a piano is amazingly complex. It's like a clock. Take a look at this. Several hundred pieces are used to make the hammer hit the string. That allows you to have more expression as you play harder. A synthesizer has a completely different action from a piano. You can see in this one that they're simulating a piano-weighted action, but the main advantage to a synthesizer is that you can make so many sounds. Now that we know the names of the notes, we're ready to start playing. First, we need to learn about chords. We'll start with triads. Triads are chords that are made up of 3 notes. Let's find middle C again with your thumb. And by the way, the fingers are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll use the thumb to play middle C. And then we're going to find E, which is 2 notes over. So C, D, E. And we're going to play that with the second finger. Then we're going to go 2 more notes over and play F, G with the 4th finger. So play it with me. Once again. One more time. Using that same shape, we can build triads on any of the scale steps. Let's start with C. We're going to move up to D, E, F, G, A, B, and then once again C at the octave. Now as I play these triads, I keep the same shape of my hand, but I'm using my thumb as the reference point. So let's do it once again. C triad, and I use my thumb to point to D, same shape. Once again, we're going up to E, thumb, and the hand stays in the same position. And here's F. Okay, we're going to just concentrate on 3 triads now. You've seen all of them, but we're just going to concentrate on C, F, and G. So let's find those again. C, then we're going to go up to F, and then back to C. Let's try that again. C to F to C. C, keep the same shape, thumb on F, and back to C. Okay, let's try one more. Now we're going to go from F, thumb on F, same shape, up 1 step to G. Thumb on G, same shape, and back to F. Let's try that one more time. F, G, F. Now let's try this. We're going to do C, F, G. So the thumb on C, same shape. The thumb moves to F, same shape, and up to G. Now let's go back to the home base, C triad. Let's try those 3 chords again. C, F, G, back home to C. One more time. C, F, G, and C. Now you might notice that those chords were built on scale steps. C is the 1 chord because it's built on the 1st scale step. Then the F triad is built on the 4th scale step. It's called the 4 chord. Then as you might imagine, the next chord up is the 5 chord. It's built on the 5th scale step. And then we returned to the 1 chord. Practice these chords C, F, and G back and forth until you're really comfortable with them. If you need to, rewind the tape and watch that segment again. These chords are used in so many songs and styles that by learning them, you open the door to playing many familiar tunes. Now, let's take a look at the left hand. Now, with the left hand, we're going to count down from middle C. Let's find middle C with your left hand, and it goes this way. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, and once again here is C. Now you want to put your 5th finger on C. That's the pinky in the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need to play G with the thumb. So we'll count up C, D, E, F, G. Play that with me. All right, now we're going to move up to F. So if you will just follow up with the same shape, using your pinky this time as the reference, we go D, E, F. There you go. Okay, now let's play C and F the way we did with the right hand. We go back to C. Now move up to F. Try it one more time. C, F. Now let's take it one more step up to G. Same shape, using the pinky as the reference point. Back to F. Let's do that a few times. F, G, F, G. Now let's try all 3 of them. Back to C, up to F, up to G, and back to C. Let's try that a few more times. C, F, G, and back to C. Now practice that several times, left hand alone, until you're comfortable. If you need to stop the tape, do that. And the next thing we're going to do is put the left and right hand together. Now we're doing the same thing that we did one at a time, right hand, left hand. But now we've put them together, so it's a little more complicated. What you want to do is, once again, target the right hand with the thumb, target the left hand with the pinky, and move them together. They stay the same distance apart, and they just move parallel. Let's try it together. Once again. Now, if you need to, you want to stop the tape again and try this until you're really comfortable with it, because the next thing we're going to do is use these chords in a song. Now, those three chords that we just learned are the basis for the blues progression. I'm going to show you how to put them together in the right order. Here we go. C to F, back to C, and play C again. To F, play F again, and back to the one chord, C. Once again, C. Go to G, and down to F, and back to C, and to G, and then we go back to C. That's the blues progression. Let's try it now with some rhythm. Now we get to the really fun part, which is playing with the band. The problem is you have to keep up with the bass player and the drummer, and it might be a little fast for you. So what you want to do is use a metronome and slow the tempo down until you can play the chords very cleanly without any mistakes. My synthesizer has a metronome built in, and I'm going to take it down to about 60, and we'll try 4 clicks per chord. Here comes C. 1, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, back to C. C, F, F, and back to C. Okay, you want to do this and just gradually bring the speed up until you can play with the band, but you don't want to make any mistakes. Let's try it a little bit faster now. Here we go, 4 beats per chord. Here's C, F, back to C, C again, back up to F, F, and back to C. Okay, you want to play the progression that we played before without the metronome and bring the speed up until you can play with the track. How's it going so far? You keeping up? I hope so, because we're going to add one more new thing. You know the progression that I showed you before? We're going to dress it up a little bit. Listen. Sounds a little bit more like the real blues guys play. Now what you want to do is back the tempo down, and we're going to take the right hand alone. So let me show you what the right hand's doing. Let's find the C triad again. Same fingering, but we're going to go up these two notes here with finger 3 and finger 5. They're going to go up to F and A. Okay? Try that just a few times, going from finger 2 and 4 to finger 3 and 5. Now let's alternate with the 1 finger on C. Try that a few times with me. Okay, now let's try it on the 4 chord, on the F chord. Now, in this case, we're going to play one of these black notes that I told you about earlier. And it's just a half step up from the A note. So, once again, you use finger 2 and 4 on A and C. And then we're going to go up to these two notes on 3 and 5. Let's try that. Okay, the last chord that we're going to use this fingering on is the chord on G, or the 5 chord. Once again, you use the 2nd finger, the 4th finger on these two notes, and you alternate with the 3rd finger and the 5th finger on these two notes. So let's try that alternating pattern again with the 1 on G. Now once again, what you want to do is to try this pattern with your metronome set at a slower tempo, and then inch it up until you're up to the tempo with the band. Now let's try the left hand. Now as I told you before, the 5th finger goes on C, and the 1st finger goes on G, but this time we're going to move the 1st finger up to A and back to G. So let's do that with C. That's good. Now let's try it on F. So we just move up to F, the little finger's on F, the 1st finger's on C, and we're going to do the pattern in this place. Okay, one more chord, it's on G. We're going to move up to G and do the same pattern. Okay, practice each of these patterns alone, right hand and left hand, with a slow metronome marking until you can work it up to the speed that we were playing with the band. Then you want to put things together. Now I'm going to show you a different style of playing, using some different chords. Remember how when we played triads, we played the same shape on each white key. In the blues, we're only using the C, F, and G triads. Now we're going to add the A and D triads. Here's how the pattern goes. In my left hand, I play the root of the chord, C. In my right hand, I play the notes of the triad one at a time. This is called an arpeggio. Okay, now let's do that same pattern down on A. Let's move down to A in the left hand, move the right hand down 2 steps to the A triad. Let's listen to that. Can you hear the difference? There's a difference between these 2 triads. This is a C major triad. This is known as the A minor triad. Has a little bit sadder sound to it, or darker sound. Now let's move up to the D triad, which is above C. And I play this with the first finger. Okay, and then go back to old friend G with the 5th finger in the left hand. All right, let's try that all together. A minor, D minor, and G. Once again, C, A minor, D, G, and back to C. Good. Okay, let's play that progression at a moderate tempo. Here we go. Good. Now, if you can't keep up with me, you know what to do. You need to turn the metronome down and build up the speed until you can play with me. When you get the speed up, you can play with the band. So let's do it together. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, and there's a lot to practice, but always remember to have fun. Now, if you'll join me in video 2, we're going to look at scales and melodies. Until next time, bye.